Developing tonight, what could be a first in the Republican presidential campaign of Dr. Ben Carson, with one publication seeming to solicit readers to file complaints against the candidate. An article appeared in the Daily Beast under the headline, "Did Ben Carson Already Break Campaign Law?" It describes how Dr. Carson is, they say, arguably promoting his book at the same events at which he is promoting his presidential run. Reporting Carson is not under investigation by the FEC. But formal complaints can be filed by any person who spots a potential violation. Wink, wink. That same sentence then literally provides a link to this page, the FEC page on directions for filing a campaign law violation complaint. It's so handy.
Just if you were wondering, just if you wondered where you could complain about a candidate.
This is so helpful. That's great. Yeah. Thank you for being here, digital politics editor Chris Direwalt. So they're really trying to do some good. It's like one-stop shopping. Oh, I saw Ben Carson violate campaign finance law. I'll just click right here.
In an article that strongly suggests that he has violated campaign finance law, that says they're not sure if anybody has complained, but if you wanted to complain, wink, 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 nudge, nudge, right here, look over there, they tell you where you get the form so that you can send it in so that you can complain about Ben Carson. What's amazing about this is, so when you talk about breaking campaign finance law, guess what? All of these campaigns, or every campaign bigger than a flea bite, has broken campaign finance law. They will all break campaign finance law in the sense that you will err. There will be money spent, there will be donations received that were improperly done, and at the end, they will all settle up. Barack Obama, every candidate, everybody has to do this at the end, say, well, this 10,000 really went here. But the suggestion at the beginning was that Ben Carson was suspending his campaign for a book tour to make money. Now the suggestion is that he is using his publisher to finance his campaign. Here's a news flash. Ben Carson's campaign raised more money than anyone else and has more cash on hand, or had more cash on hand at the end of the last quarter than anybody but Ted Cruz. Give me a break.
So your point is, if he needed money to get from one city to the next, or to put him up in a hotel, he didn't have to violate campaign law to do it. He could have just used the money people were donating to him.
He's not going to lose this election for loss of $5 grand. It's not like he couldn't get to Cleveland on a coach flight. This is the kind of treatment that Carson routinely gets because they refuse to treat him as a legitimate candidate. There always has to be something wrong. There always has to be something amiss. Either it's a scam, or he doesn't know what he's doing, or something else.
But if the law is the law, and if he traveled and the publisher paid for it instead of Carson's campaign, and then he did campaign work, would he have violated campaign finance law?
Well, arguably, the publisher would have violated campaign finance law, because they would have. The rule in question here is that corporations cannot make direct contributions to candidates. They can put money into PACs, but they can't spend directly on elections. And if that was the case, then it would be the publisher that was in violation, not Ben Carson. But then he'd have to worry about how you report the in-kind contribution.
If you know that
blah,
that
blah, blah,
happened
blah, blah.
in the case of Dr. Carson, you just click on this link right here.
Right, if it concerns you, just click here.
And then there was one lower on the
concern.
Page for Hillary Clinton. Oh, wait. No, there wasn't.
You're thinking of a different page
I don't remember
somewhere.
That was a different page. Okay, great to see you.
You bet.
Bye, Chris. Well, this weekend, Israel saw the worst attack yet in a string of violent assaults as a Palestinian gunman opens fire on an Israeli bus station. Mark Thiessen is next on what Secretary John Kerry just asked of average Israelis, and why. Plus, before the young Texas teen they call the Clock Kid went to the White House tonight, he made another stop on a world tour, meeting with some famous folks. Up next, how the teenager found himself the guest of a man accused of mass genocide. Plus, when Hillary Clinton was recently asked about gun control, she said we ought to look at what they did in Australia, where people's weapons were confiscated by the tens of thousands. Tonight, a survivor of one of the worst shooting sprees in U.S. history has a powerful message for Mrs. Clinton.
The guy that did it was a lunatic. That's like being mad at a rabid dog. I'm mad at my legislators for legislating me out of the right to protect myself and my family.